Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another rendition of the Your Little Castle Show. We're always looking for the best experts. I actually figured out I've known Tom for many years now, running around St. Louis, hang out with our good attorney friend, Eric Bamer,
Yes, sir.
Bamer Law. And it's always good to have a good attorney as a friend. And boy, the work you've done is exemplary and really does a great job to help bring the best out of our community. I saw some of the work. One of the houses you're working on, I'm like, that looks like a house in my neighborhood. We'll have to show you pictures of my house. But the dynamite looking work, it's on his website. We'll get that in just a second. But right now, everybody, we're going to share with you our sponsors, Your Little Castle, because you like nice things in your little castle. But that's what Carroll House Furniture brings to you. Nice things because you like nice things, and we say in your little castle. You wouldn't have a castle though unless you had somebody to help you pay for it. So that's where we've got USA Mortgage, the Flowers team here, longtime sponsor, along with Carroll House, and we really love all the work they do to help make our community awesome. So with that, we're going to start showing off some of this beautiful work that Tom has and a great looking website. That house right there, that's an update to your website, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And tell me then, Tom, why did you decide to get into the exteriors roofing business?
So I've always been in sales my whole life. I was in medical laser sales for a little bit, more like a laser technician job. I was offered a job to sell roofing through insurance claims. Finding out how that all worked, being able to help the community, help people in the community replace the roofs on their home, protect their home for the future, and protect their families from the future storms. Just it brought me in. I got really excited about it.
Well, yeah, when you're getting into the work that is necessary for a house, like when you're the roof, probably the most important component because
Absolutely.
it protects everything else, and just keep that value of a house up. And I was just looking at the work you guys have done. Again, that house right behind me, that's it. I saw that. That is in my neighborhood, and beautiful stuff you got there. So the houses we got, I'm in the lower class half of the neighborhood here, but the houses you've got there, we're all about the same in this neighborhood. But the houses you got here, they look dynamite, and Tom's really helping to make these things keep that high quality. That keeps the house value for everybody. This is a long-term investment for everybody. Was that part of what you get to bring to the table?
Yeah, absolutely. So unfortunately, when hail does come and damage your home, you have to fix it. Insurance thankfully pays for it. But like you said, it does add value to the home about 10-15% with a new roof, depending on if you put like siding, gutters, all that stuff in. But the roof does add quite a bit of value to it.
Yeah, well, and if you don't have a roof or a house that looks great, you can tell. You've seen those houses they have. I guess it's just algae sometimes. It grows on a house a little bit. Tell me about that, and what do you do about that, and why does that depreciate the value of a house?
So the algae streaking on the front of the home is mainly because of the north side of the roof. So it gets the least amount of sun throughout the day. So the moisture from the dew and the frost like that is able to stick on there longer.
Okay, and it causes that algae to allow it
to build up, yes, sir.
Proliferate and grow a little bit,
yes, sir.
And cause some damage there. But that's not all that goes on. There's a lot more. The hail we've talked about. We've had a number of hailstorms. Had one recently out here in Wentzville, another one down south.
Yeah,
I was at the Fenton area.
Yeah, we had Fenton ones earlier this spring.
And you're around to be able to help all those guys. You service this whole metro area.
Yeah, we've been working anywhere from Barnhart down south. We're in Fenton, Town and Country, St. Charles in your neighborhood actually, out to Wentzville. We're even in Columbia and
Belleville over there.
But Belleville a little bit, but yeah, exactly. So, but we go as far as Columbia. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there's a lot that goes on in this whole neighborhood, and especially hail. I mean, hail. I know is a lot of the people. It's like everybody waits for the annual hailstorm to come through. Sometimes we get 2 or 3 of them. Tell me a little bit about it. What do people need to be worried about? They look at the roof especially from the ground, and they're like, oh, I don't have any damage. It looks like it's okay. Is that a risk they're taking by assuming that?
Yeah. So when hail initially hits, it doesn't make a water opening or a reason to be immediately concerned, but it does compromise the life and the integrity of that shingle. So over time, with that integrity being compromised in the roofing system, you start to develop leaks, fractures in the shingle, weak points in the roof, and that's why insurance does take care of it. So that's why it's important to have a contractor such as TV Exteriors to come check out your roof, inspect it for free, and see if they can help you along the way.
Yeah, you will want an expert that can do that because we've had a couple roofing guys out here, and it's really interesting what goes on that you can't detect unless you go up there and crawl up on the roof and look at it very closely. How often do you see a roof that from the ground and from their perspective it looks fine? There's nothing to worry about here. Nothing to worry about here. Yeah. And then they find out when their neighbors start getting it. What's the first clue, and what are they really sacrificing by not closely examining that? Get an expert like you to come up there and look at it.
Yeah, so the big thing is if you don't have a contractor come out and inspect your roof for storm damage, a lot of people put it a claim before having it inspected. And if you don't have proper representation from a contractor like us, you could possibly go in there with the insurance adjuster getting on your roof, denying your roof, and not having anybody go to bat for you. I like to tell people we're like the lawyer, but for your roof and exteriors during these storm situations.
I like that. I hadn't heard that before, and that's something that's. But it's a matter of why would you go with any kind of major $15,000, $20,000, $30,000? One of the roofs you were talking about, maybe it was the one you're working on. You said 9,000 square foot roof. I mean, why would you not make sure that that thing is properly covered with the experts that know what they're doing?
Exactly. Yes, sir.
True. Okay. Well, what led you to this? I mean, you talked a little bit about your background, but then you got into this, and then you decided to start your own company. You've been doing your own company now for 3 years. You've been in the industry for 7, so you've become an expert now. What keeps you going every day?
Yeah, so like I said, being in sales, I've always loved sales, taking care of people, make sure people got exactly what they bought, make sure we went the extra mile. I thought, owning my own company, I could do that. I could provide the extra that the people in the industry weren't providing that. The roofing industry is so saturated in St. Louis, but you have to have your niche. And I think our niche is taking that extra step, taking that extra mile to provide a great service, of exponential product, and ultimately the greatest experience in the roofing situation with hail and storms as it can possibly be.
Yeah, well, that's what we're talking about, because I'm just looking at some of the work you've done and some of the houses you've got. Obviously, you've built a reputation where you got people that have a lot of money that trust you, because if you're going to get this kind of work done, well, we're going to have to look at some of the roofs up here. But if you take a look here, I'm going to put up on the wall for everybody. If you look at the wall behind us, here it is, Tom's website, TB Exteriors. And that house you got right there in the front, that is one of the houses that you've recently done. That's the one that was in my neighborhood. That I recognize. Is that true?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. We're very fortunate to be doing larger homes like this, but we also do smaller homes. We do commercial flat roofs as well. But just having the opportunity to service St. Charles, St. Louis, and our neighbors, it's just a blessing. So we're very thankful to have the opportunity.
Well, somebody who's well-spoken and who seems to have it together. I mean, that's what you're looking for. So many people, I guess, with somebody coming to their house are like, oh, gosh, I don't know whether they're going to be telling me the truth or not.
Yeah.
If they're going to hit me with some bill, they're going to tell me something I don't expect. How do I gauge it? How many roofing guys do you want to have come through your house to try before you figure out whether somebody knows what they're doing? And so we're going to show where you've got some reviews that are pretty spectacular, too, and you've got a lot of well-reputed people who really speak nicely about you, so that's good to see as well. Was there a particular hobby or something you did as a child that kind of led to this? You're a people person. You enjoy helping people, and that's what you got to be. What would you say?
So I've always been a teams guy. I've played sports my whole life. Been in like group activities like baseball, football. Played a little bit of rugby in high school. Enjoy playing golf. And just having that responsibility of being part of a team. Hey, you have your job to do in that position on that team. You have your due diligence, and you have other people you're taking care of and making sure that they're relying on you. So to be able to do this, protect people's homes, have that duty to protect their homes for the future from storms, and ultimately just being accountable. I mean, we're being I guess you could say more or less, people are trusting us, obviously, with a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 investment to their home. So it's nice to have that accountability.
Yeah, well, it comes down to it. That's why I like the analogy you bring up there with regard to making the team sport effort. Like I said, I played a lot of baseball, football, soccer myself, basketball, a little hockey even. But yeah, you've got a role on your team. You've got to make sure you come through, and you've got to make sure that everybody on the team is partaking, especially if you're the leader of that team. As the owner, you've got to make sure that everybody gets their piece done, because if there's not, somebody's going to have to pick that up and make it right. And because what you're talking about here is not just the fact that you won or lost the game. You're talking about somebody's house and their biggest asset. So very important and very exciting to hear somebody with that kind of a perspective on it. And I like that team fashion you bring in there. That's a lot of people talk about that, but I think that's important. So as we talked about it, you've been in the business now, your own business here for 3 years. So
yes,
you've really got it going now. I've seen some of the work. Well, again, we're going to show that here in a second. But in the industry for 7, how many guys do you have on your crew, and how long, what combined experience? You've got a lot of years, I guess.
Yeah, so we have 4 in-house employees, a couple sales reps, a couple back office people. We have 2 crews of 8. They're great crews. We got them working almost every day. We do about 4 roofs a week at this point in the year. Starting to slow down a little bit with the weather, but the pipeline's still full. We got a lot of work coming in. Still getting a lot of phone calls weekly, and so it's we're very fortunate.
Well, that's what usually comes about if you've got somebody that puts it together and works hard, everybody, and puts the effort into running a business. I mean, I know running a business. I've been doing that for a long time myself, and boy, you're always the one at the helm there. Got to make the call.
Yeah.
Got to make things come through. If somebody doesn't come through, you got to make it happen. Tell me then, what about your business that really fuels your passion? You've touched on that a little bit, but elaborate for me. The satisfaction of helping people and really going out and making a difference.
Yeah, the best part about it is at the end of the day, when somebody calls you and they're like, hey, Tom, I've had 2 or 3 contractors out. The insurance isn't paying for my roof. I'm having headaches with this insurance company. This contractor's calling me back. Can you come over here and see what I can do, or what you can do for me? And being able to provide that satisfaction, delivering what I am saying I'm going to do. Hey, I know your insurance company, I know what they require for to claim to be successful in being pushed through for being a paid claim, and that's going to benefit you in a full roof replacement. So we work towards that, and once we get that to happen and we're able to get these roofs paid for, put the product on the roof, give them the warranties we do, and just seeing them light up and smile and be so excited, where we've even had clients they could cry because they didn't think they could have the roof paid for by insurance. They thought they were going to pay for it out of pocket.
Yeah, that's key. I mean, you talk about the quality of the product and what you're offering to people. I mean, you got to dig in there. We talked a little bit about the different manufacturers of roofing supplies that you, ABC, well known in the industry, they offer everything. But you've got some certifications and some guarantees that go along with the different vendors you choose and that you like. So talk a little bit about the companies that you represent and the materials you like to use, if you would.
Yes, sir. So we primarily use Certainteed and Owens Corning. They both have their certifications. So Certainteed, we're master shinglers with them just by taking the test, studying the product, installing the products the correct way. So we're able to offer the highest level of material manufacturer warranties that they offer. The other one is the preferred contractor through Owens Corning program. So we're preferred contractors through them as well. And again, that's by taking the test, studying their products, and performing the way they want us to perform.
And that's important because you don't just wake up one day and say, hey, we want to sell your product. If you want to really sell it, you've got to get the certifications done for that so you can offer the guarantees and the warranties.
Yes, sir.
And make sure that everything gets put in place. And the manufacturer is backing you, I guess, as well.
More or less.
That's good. Well, take a look here up on the wall, everybody. I'm going to go to our other TV wall here. Look at these. There you go. Look at these ratings. This is the BBB. You got the A+. You've got a 5 of 5 stars there. And I want to show everybody, you've got reviews also on your Facebook here a little bit, and 29 reviews there. Talk a little bit about those reviews and why those are so important to you.
Yeah, the reviews are keep us true. Without the reviews, I mean, we've gotten customers that have literally said, because of the reviews, this is why we've gone with you. We've seen the work, we've seen the reviews, we've seen what people have said, we've called your reviews from the referrals you've given us a list of. So we want to provide as much transparency, honesty, and just to make sure that these people are happy and they trust us. I mean, because without these people trusting us, we wouldn't be in business. We won't be able to provide a fantastic roofing experience. And ultimately, we just want to help the community as best as possible.
Well, that's what we're talking about. We want people that do exemplify that, because as a matter of being somebody you can trust, those reviews are important. I'm going to just go over here a little bit with a couple of things at times people have mentioned to you, but we'll definitely recommend. They did a fantastic job on a roof, super informative, easy to work with. I highly recommend using TB Exteriors. And everybody, take a look out there, because there are a ton more reviews available between that, the BBB, and just go out on the internet and look at all of the resources that are out there. Tom and his crew do an incredible job, and that's why we've invited him to be on our show here today, because that's who we're trying to highlight in our community. With that in mind, tell me, what would be the one thing you feel that really sets yourself apart? What sets TB Exteriors apart from everyone else? There's a lot of people out there. How do you beat them?
Yeah, so yeah, the roofing market in general and nationwide is pretty saturated, especially in Missouri. What I think sets us apart, again, we go the extra mile. We follow up. We return phone calls. If we say we're going to give you an estimate in a timely manner, we give you an estimate. We don't just come, check out your roof, say we'll give you an estimate and then never call you back. But with giving you the estimate, we show up on time. We're there with your adjuster through the insurance process. I like to say we hold our clients' hands from the start to finish. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure by the time we leave, first off, the roofs are put on properly. You're happy. The yard's clean, so you're not going to worry about nails and stuff like that in the yard for the animals and the children. And that you call us back if something does happen to your roof with another storm.
Well, important stuff there, and we talk about it. You've got a pretty exceptional warranty. One of the way you cover people. I want to put this up for everybody. Exterior home warranty system. TBDs, understand at home is one of your biggest investments. And so to make sure that everything that you are offering is protected, and a warranty is key. And this is something that makes it a value to everybody, because when it comes down to it, what is it that's going to happen if something does go wrong? And you're there, and your company, you got the companies that back you. What do you think has set you apart with regard to your warranty and the work that you guys do too?
So we offer a lifetime workmanship warranty. And so the way we explain that to our clients is, if our roof that we've installed is on your home, if anything goes wrong that's outside of storm damage, we fix it for free, no cost, no questions, no whatever it may be. So let's say maybe one shingle falls off, a couple shingles fall off, or so there's a leak somewhere, or for some reason the roof isn't performing as it should. We come out there, we inspect it, we take care of it, and if repairs do have to be made, it's no out-of-pocket cost to our clients, because that's part of our warranty system that we offer.
Yeah, I like that, because you say warranty system, and everybody's got to be very systematic about the way
Correct.
they get anything
Yes,
done.
sir.
If you've got that in place, comes maybe from your sports background. Thing was always organized. What
Always
position
systems.
were you at? What was the score? How many hits? How many errors? Very systematic the way you do that. That's why it seems you're so on the ball. We really want to share with everybody what you guys bring to the table. Tell me, this is one of my favorite questions. We're moving here quickly, but when you get down to this, what is a big mistake that a lot of consumers make? They've got maybe they've had a hailstorm come through, or some damage has been done, and they don't understand what to deal with. What's a mistake they often make?
I think a mistake that a consumer does make during a hailstorm situation is going with the lowest contractor's price. So we'll see these contractors from out of town come in, and I call it, what they offer is the taillight warranty. Everything looks really shiny, really good, fantastic, too good to be true type stuff, and it usually is. So you get these guys, they'll come in, they'll say, I'm going to eat your deductible for you. These deductibles are thousands of dollars. Now, these guys will come in, eat the deductible, and then something does go wrong, you can't get a hold of them, because now they're from a different state, or they're out of business, or something along those lines, where that you don't get that reassurance of protection for future.
Yeah, that's important. We've had another guest on here, Coach House Garages, and the president was here, and he talked about how they be wary of people who have that tail light warranty.
Yes, sir.
And that's as long as you can see the tail lights, you've got a warranty. But
Yes,
as soon as
sir.
those tail lights are gone,
It's gone.
You're on your own.
Yes, sir.
And that's really important, because how often is it that people do end up in a situation where they've got most of the work look great, and they did a good job, and everything looks, especially when you're looking at it from the street level, you're not flying your drone over there to
Exactly.
check it out, and then it's a couple weeks later.
Yeah.
Well, those guys are long gone.
Yeah.
And so that's where you say, you don't have to worry about that here. Tom's been doing this for a long time. You got the connections. You've got the great relationship with one of the biggest suppliers in the area too, ABC, I know. And you just got it covered from all sides. Why is that so important?
Yeah, first off, you're not going to have these clients or people that want to get up on the roof, whether it's the older couple versus people that just don't feel good getting on a roof. We've made a great relationship with ABC through the years of being in business. They take great care of us, and we can't thank them enough. But ultimately, when we're out here protecting these people's homes from storms, again, we want to make sure that they are protected. We want to make sure that they don't have to question the integrity of their roof when we've put it on, or they have to question if we used enough nails, or if we put the proper materials on for protecting them from rain or heavy winds. So ultimately, we want to make sure they know we're here to stay. We're not going anywhere. I live right down the street from you, so we're not going anywhere. And like I said, we want to stay in business for a long time. Maybe forever. Depends how long I live. But ultimately, yeah, we just want to protect our neighbors and have a great company, a great foundation, and just take care of people.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody who's from the heart. You can hear from our friend here, Tom. I want to make sure I say your name correctly, or say it the right way. Bendyk.
Yes, sir.
That's how you say that. And somebody that has been there, just the integrity you bring to the table, and the vendors that you've worked with, and everything that you've got going on. When I saw your website, I was like, wow, these guys are on the ball. I'll put that back up on the wall for everybody to take a look here. We're looking at some of the other sub pages here, but this is the residential page. But just take a look here, and later in the show, we actually record 2 shows for everybody, and because there's just so much to talk about. But we're going to get into where we show off a lot more of Tom's work as we get into this, because there's just so much you need to examine to people
Yeah.
see that. And I guess you've worked from everything from small houses to big houses, a little bit of commercial.
A little bit.
You do as well, and so taking care of the business owners in our little corner of this world. And what's it like? How satisfying is that? And tell me, I mean, how often is there sometimes when you had something that went wrong, or maybe you're helping somebody who had a problem, and you got to step in and fix things? Is that something that has happened from time to time?
Yeah. Well, first off, it's really satisfying. Like I said, like I kind of touched on earlier, is when you have somebody who can't afford to buy a new roof out of pocket, and you offer them an insurance route, and they didn't know they could take the insurance route. We're able to guide them, hold their hand, and make sure that they are comfortable throughout that process, and making sure that the insurance does pay what that homeowner has invested into. And so seeing that and getting the satisfaction from that is huge. Ultimately, it's one of the greatest reasons of doing, or I guess the best reason for doing roofing, and I enjoy it. It feels good.
Yeah, I mean, when you're doing so much, you're so involved with the integrity of a house. I mean, tell me, as a matter of, if a roof is not properly assembled, not properly installed, give me an example of some of the things that can go wrong, and down to where people end up with mold coming inside their house. Talk to me a little bit about that, and the vents and the system, and why that is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, ventilation is huge. If there's not enough intake, or the intake to exhaust ratio is backwards, that exhaust now becomes your intake, and so you get water coming in from the top going down, and you can see that condensation runs on the roof. Also, if your roof's not installed properly, you will have water coming in. Water loves to find a way in.
Okay, so now let's we put the cowboy hat on, because you're really digging into stuff. When I hear things I haven't heard before, that exhaust ratio, talk about that a little bit. Why is that so important? Because do you end up with issues where water then runs inside out, condensation builds up? What goes on there?
Yeah, so there's in the roofing ventilation system, you have your intake and you have your exhaust. You have your intake, which comes in through your soffits. And in this case, we always promote using a ridge vent on your home. So not always, but for most situations, we use a ridge vent. That ridge vent is your exhaust. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio for the parts per, I guess, the air, however you want to scientifically put it.
Right.
But you want to have a good solid airflow that goes through your attic, so there's still always moving air in the attic and coming out. But if the exhaust is a higher ratio than the intake, now your system's backwards, and that's where your water comes into the top of your roof. And like I said, you get the condensation lines, you get the run lines, you get the mold, you get the insulation all moldy and wet, and now it's coming through your drywall and staining your ceilings.
Wow, it could end up in your ventilation system for the house and
Yeah.
cause all kinds of issues. Nobody likes to have mold in their house. But I had not heard that before. As a matter of, the flow is important, because if that thing backs the wrong way, talk to everybody. Tell me what the ridge vent is. Where's the ridge? I mean, I know, but I want the people to understand what that means.
Yeah. So what the ridge is the top peak of your roof. So it's like a long running line. So you got your 2 points on each slope. So your front slope and your back slope. Where it comes to the point, and what we do with the ridge vent, we cut a 4-inch gap back there. And when the ridge vent itself is a piece of plastic, it's ventilated, it's sealed from like critters, like debris like leaves, maybe sticks, stuff like that in the air, and even like microbacterial parts. So we'll put that over top, and then we'll shingle over top of that ridge vent. So when that air does come through the soffit, up through the attic, it goes out your ridge vent. So it does help circulate that air, keeping a steady flow.
And I put up on the wall over here to your right, Tom, something is that a good angle?
That is, yeah.
That's an actual ridge vent. That is at the very peak of the house.
Yes, sir.
And let me put that up there for everybody to see. But that is vital. And a lot of people, they're like, a vent on the top of my house? Why do I have a vent at the top of my house? Because the air's got to come out of there.
Got to come out.
And if you don't want to go in reverse either, but this air is important, because this helps the whole flow of all of what you don't want stagnant in your house, bringing in moisture and condensation, and that causes.
And as we all know, heat rises. So the only best place to go is at the highest point.
Yeah. And so if you don't have a ridge vent, what are you really putting at risk? I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, ridge vents are relatively new, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Last decade or so.
Yep.
But there's so many houses that don't have them, and they're risking that buildup of humidity, and anytime you get anything wet inside of a house, it's going to cause problems.
Yeah, a couple great things about the ridge vent is, again, it adds the flow through the attic. So when that flow, the airflow through the attic, in the summer, your roof doesn't expand so much. And in the winter, it doesn't contract so much. So with the expansion and contraction, those little granulars, the colored rock that we see on this roof here, although they don't pop out, they don't become loose. your roof, the age looks to be a younger roof over time than a roof without ridge vent because of the expansion contraction that it's not doing. On top of that, it helps the integrity and the lifespan of the shingle.
Okay, so yeah, when you're the expansion and contraction of any of these things, and that's because of heat and cold. In St. Louis, we get a pretty wide range. You get degrees down, and we had the pipes blow at one of our properties during this last coldest temperature in like 41 years, and it got down to -20 or something like that. That's rare.
Remember that.
But you very often get in the low teens, and then all the way up to you get up to 100 degrees. You're close to 100 degrees of variation right there, and that's going to allow for the fluctuation, especially when you think about it. Nobody's talked to me so much about the airflow and the consistency there, and what that means to a house, and how that causes problems. But that flux causes things to wear, I guess.
Yes, sir.
True?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And those would be problems that they don't want to have because they didn't take the time to put in the right components for what their house
Exactly.
is.
You're correct, man. You're almost a roofer. They get you some certifications. They'll get you on a roof.
I have actually worked as a roofer for a short period of time. A buddy of mine got a big storm come through. He's a longtime friend. And he said, "Cowboy, come out and help me a little bit." And it was interesting because I just went to a few different doors. And they're like, "I know you. You're the Cardinal Cowboy." And it worked out well because he does a great job, just like yourself. And one thing that was important was that guarantee and that warranty that you have, and that's really important because people don't want to have to pay out of pocket to have something that goes wrong. So all three of the manufacturers you're offering, they offer some kind of a guarantee. Can you elaborate on what the differences are and what they do?
Yeah, so the manufacturers do have a systems, different tier system warranty. With us being certified in these manufacturers, we're able to offer the highest tier warranty system they offer. Our company's warranty for workmanship is a lifetime warranty, lifetime workmanship warranty. Again, we don't charge anything for it. It's what we do for every single roof. But the manufacturers do have a 30-year limited lifetime warranty. That's Certainteed, Owens Corning, and GAF are the big three that we use.
Yeah. Well, that's important to get into knowing the products that you offer and that the warranty is on there. There's a lot of roofing guys I've talked to. They have one they kind of favor, but they don't often offer all three. And I guess there's benefits to all three, and that gives you a few more options for your clients so that they can take it. Well, I like what this particular vendor offers versus what these guys. And you always want to make sure you've got somebody that can back it up with a strong warranty.
Yeah,
and that's key to what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Well, all right. Give it up for Tom here because he's taking the time out of his day to come into our studio here to talk about this. TB Exteriors, LLC, tbexteriors.com. And you can reach them at 636-362-9503. So we're finishing up here with our first half hour. Tom gave us a lot of great information. We've got more to bring to you here in the second half hour. We're going to show you a lot more of the work he's got there. I've got some of the pictures you kind of see in the corner on the wall over there. But with that, we want to get into the real depth of what goes on to this and how the work should be done. We'll point out some highlights and specifics of some of the great work he's done here, because if you look at some of these houses, man, some of these houses are beautiful. They all look great after you get done with them. And I'm just looking at some of these places. I'm like, man, what's that house go? Is that $1 million house? Is that a $2 million house? Those people were probably pretty picky, but you did the work for them. So stay tuned for more, everybody. This is the Your Little Castle Show.